Welcome back to Redneck's Dirty Hands, part 2 of the Go Fast cart. Now we got the front end all kind of mocked up and tacked together, so we got a good idea how that's going to go. So now we'll work on trying to rig up the back suspension. It's going to be a little bit unorthodox. We're trying something a little bit different. Not sure if it's going to work, but let's see what happens. So we've got this big nice rectangle opening here where the original motor, the mount was up on there, and it had that little carriage. So basically thinking of building the exact same kind of idea, just a frame to hold the engine. But what I'm going to do is went to Princess Auto, picked up some 1-inch shaft and some block bearings, some pillow block bearings. So I think what I'm going to do is use these as the hinge. So this will be the actual frame of the, the frame that I'm going to build to hold the engine. And then I'll have another set of pillow blocks with tabs, same as what I got here. I made 4 of these guys. So I'll have another pillow block bearing up here, and then those will get mounted onto the frame there. So then just basically it's going to act like a big old hinge, right? So I can get that piece put on there, and then I'll make my side rails to figure out the length, and I'll probably stop them right behind the rim. We'll come straight across. That way we can figure out for our axle. I got another chunk of shaft there. JP doesn't think it's going to be strong enough. It is just 1-inch Princess Auto shaft, so we may have some issues with bending it or breaking it. Hopefully not. We are putting a lot of weight and horsepower to this, but for testing purposes for now, because it's all I can get, I checked to see if I can get bigger stock. They didn't have any, so hey, we'll roll with what we got. We'll try and build this and see how it goes. Well, the front of the swing arm is mocked up in and tacked in, so that'll should work quite nice, be fairly smooth. So now I'll just cut some rails for the length, get that set up, and then yeah, we're rock and rolling. Custom heavy duty swing arm. Hopefully it works. Ha. Alright, day 2 of part 2 of the Go Fast cart. I've got the basic frame layout for the swing arm. Pretty sweet, goes up and down. So now we're going to be figuring out about laying the axle across. Hopefully by the end of this day we will have a rolling chassis. So what I've got here is, there's our 1-inch axle shaft. Went to Princess Auto. They had these pre-made flanges. They have these standoffs or couplers, whatever you want to call them, that fit the 1-inch shaft. So I picked up 2 different sprockets. I figured I'd get a big one and a small one for gear choices, but I think we're gonna end up going with the bigger one. I think that's like a 48 tooth, so it should keep it nice and powerful down low out of the hole type deal. And then this one I'll probably turn into a brake rotor. So we got these hubs, they fit the sprockets no problem, then they fit the shaft. but they didn't have any more that would fit these flanges, so these ones originally had just a 1/2-inch hole, so I put them in the lathe, drilled and bored them out to the 1 inch, and then got them tack welded in there, and then I put them in the lathe and made sure their faces were nice and true. So JP will have to take these to work, run a broach through them to put the keyway in so we can lock it to the shaft to set everything up. But yeah, so far so good. I did those off camera, I apologize for that, but hopefully today anyway we'll get those axle flanges. We'll just set them up on the axle. I'll get the wheels bolted to it. We'll figure out where we're going to mount the bearing blocks. I'm going to have to add some standoffs. What I'm going to want to do is extend on the outside so I can put a bearing block right tight to the wheel, and then I want to have 4 bearings on this one to keep the strength in the shaft, stop it from deflecting and whatnot. So I'll have 2 right out by the wheels, and then 2 kind of split in the middle by the sprocket and the rotor, just to help support it. So if we can get that rigged up by the end of the day, we can actually push this thing outside, see how it rolls. Alright, well, I've been working away on the Goldfast golf cart here. My sweet little daughter Alicia is out here helping. She's my camera girl right now. Hi, Sheesh.
Hi.
So, if you come in and take a look, what I've done is I centered up the axle. I've got it true to the chassis of the golf cart. I've just got it mocked up. I drilled 1 hole each side in the bearings to hold that on. So now I'm going to mount the shocks. I took a piece of tubing, drilled a 3/8 hole through that so it accepts the stock shock bolt. So what we're going to do is we just put the original shock back up in here. These are the original golf cart shocks, so they might be a little underrated for what we're doing. I don't know. You get 2 full-grown dudes on this thing with some couple of bags of golf clubs and some beers and whatnot on the golf course. That's got to weigh quite a bit, so we should be okay. If they're not, I've got other shocks we can rig up on this, but I just want to get this done, set up, so we can get it as a rolling chassis, see how it sits, you know, and then maybe we'll sling the engine in, drop it in just to get the weight, and then I can modify. All I'm going to do with these guys is mount them up from the bottom. I'll put a bolt through there. I'll cut this on an angle, weld it to the chassis, so then that'll help with that'll be the suspension. Should work. Tickety boo. All right, so I've made these little tubes for the shocks. They actually worked out perfect. 1.5 inch square tubing. Fit perfect for the bushing inside these stock shocks, so I just drilled a hole, cut it on a taper. So I'm just going to set the height and tack weld these guys on, and then I'll get it on its own weight, and then maybe I'll sling the engine, just set it in there, just to get an idea of what kind of squat I'm going to get from these shocks. I don't want to set it too low right from the beginning, because then once you goose on her, if she squats too far, I don't want the tires rubbing or anything hitting or banging or any of that. So I'm setting it up. I think I'll go a little on the high side and hope that the weight settles it down. So yeah, we'll see what happens. All right, she doesn't want to be the camera girl because of the spark, so she just hit start and took off. One tacky wacky. Just like so. Okay, sheesh. You can shut it off now. Alright, so I've got it mocked up. I only have a few tack welds and a few bolts holding it, but the axle's true to the chassis. It's rolling nice and smooth. I got the shocks tacked in there, so theoretically if I pull this out of here, now that didn't squat at all. I'm 210 pounds right on the back bumper here, and that's not even going down at all. I might have to adjust that because I got her rigged like an old 80s muscle car right now. But yeah, that's pretty good. That is a rolling chassis. We don't have any steering hooked up, but there it goes. Rolls nice and easy too. So if it rolls that easy, but a lot faster once we get that big old motor in there. That's perfect. What do you think, Sheesh?
Nice.
Nice. Is it going to be faster than my other golf cart?
Maybe.
Oh, I hope so. The other golf cart's just stock.
What if it's faster than our buggies?
Hey. Alright, so just to get an idea of the look of it, their tires are poking out nice. We got nice wide stance on it. So it turned out pretty good, and then you can see I got that bit of a rake to it. Looks almost like a Ford Model A there, you know, like a 31 or something. Kind of cool. Maybe put a rumble seat in there instead of the radiator, but no, we need the radiator. Put the rad in there. Wheelie bar coming off the back. Maybe a little wing. Who knows? This thing might fly. So I think that's going to end it for this video, but I think I like the progress that's going on with it. It's looking pretty cool. As long as I can get the motor in there and, you know, everything works out. Lengthwise, height-wise. You know, JP and I have been discussing a few things about it. You know, I think might try and do a fuel tech setup to manage the engine. You know, we'll look into that and see about getting that all set up. But I still got to reinforce the front, finalize everything here, set the motor in, make sure that it's going to work out. And then, yeah, we'll keep rocking and rolling. Hopefully part 3 will get some more done. Alright, well, thanks for tuning into this episode, and thank you for my little helper holding the camera today, your sweetheart. Now, if you enjoy the channel and interested in the build we're doing, don't forget to subscribe. It helps us out. You know, hit the like button and leave a comment. Let me know what you think of this, and remember, try and come up with a name for this thing. It's going to be a 1000cc golf cart. Hopefully it's going to be something wicked. We'll see. You know, I got my other golf cart in the background, but it's just stock lifted up. This one, nice and low, hopefully fast. Take her easy.